Hello and welcome to the next game analysis. This time I show you the game between Fritz 11 and Houdini 4 and 4B. And I let them play their Schliemann or Yenish gambit, which arises after the moves e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, the Ruy Lopez, and now the move f5. Fritz played the move d3, which is the best move. After bishop takes c6, d takes c6, knight takes e5, we have again the move queen to d4. Attacking the knight and the pawn, the knight hops back, and now queen takes e4, and this is a round equal. And after e takes f5, we would have to move e4, and after queen e2, we would have to move queen e7. This should be again even. And now bishop takes, b takes, and knight to d4, knight f6, castles, queen to e5, c3. Defending the knight, bishop to d6, threatening checkmate, f4, queen a5, b5, queen a6, offering a trade of queens. If you take here, then this attacks the rook. And now where is the rook going? For example, if the rook goes here, let's go with the computer line, rook fe1. Now we have to move bishop to d3, completely locking down the black's queen side. And we would have to move a4. Bishop takes f4. Well, if you try to defend this pawn, for example with g3, then you have to move a5, knight b3, a takes, pawn takes, and b takes. And yeah, if you take here, then c5, the knight hovers back to b3, for example, and now c4, knight again goes back, now rook takes a5, bishop b2, king f2, a4, and rook to a2, and black has more than enough compensation for the pawn, so that's why here queen e3 is played, not going for the queen exchange. Now we have to move c5, we would have to move c5, now knight hovers back to b3, and now c takes b4, knight c5 attacking the queen, queen goes to c4, and this, yeah, black should be better, but there are also better moves for white here available. But the best thing you can do against the Yenish gambit is to decline it. So it's a sound kind of gambit. So, and Fritz 11 declined it with d3. We have to move f takes e4, d takes e4, knight f6, and now knight c3. Castling would be advantageous for white. For example, d6, queen to d3, bishop to e7, and now queen to c4. Black cannot castle now, and now we have to move. We would have to move bishop d7 because the knight was also attacked. Now knight c3, and now rook f8, bishop g5, a6, attacking the bishop. Bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and this is slightly better for white. But in the game we have to move knight c3. And after bishop b4, pinning the knight, it's around equal, this position. We have to move castling, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, d6, queen e2, and now castles. And after h3, white is in deep trouble. Better was the move queen c4 check, king to h8, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, queen takes c6, and rook b8. And this is around equal, although white is up a pawn, but it's... Look at white's pawns, they are not great at all. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns. But this is a double isolated c pawn, this is an isolated pawn, and black only has one isolated pawn, and yeah. This is around equal. but we have to move h3. And now after a6, the bishop hovels back. Now we have to move queen a8, bishop d2, knight d8, bishop rook b1, king h8, knight g5, knight to h5. Now bishop to c4, knight here, attacking the queen, bishop takes, rook takes, g3, rook goes back to f6, king g2, h6, h4, and we have to move bishop d7. If you take the knight, then this is bad news for black, because black, yeah, would have to give back the exchange at least, and white is advised not to take the exchange back, but rather plays the move rook h1. The king goes here, and now rook h4. The rook is pinned. Now the move queen g6, rook h1, knight to f7, defending against the h8 threat, and now f4. And white has enough compensation for the piece, and this is around equal. White's attack is pretty strong, and black would have to defend. So, for example, e takes f4, g takes f4, king f8, bishop takes rook, rook here to defend the g5 pawn. So now f5 is threatened, so that's why rook e8 is played, so that after e5 you can take with the bishop, and after e5 you can take with the bishop, and after e takes f5 you take the queen with check, and this is why this doesn't work. But you can go king f2, again threatening. Well, is this now a threat? Takes, no, this is even now it's not a threat, but you have to move queen c8, f5, bishop takes f5, rook here check, knight here check, king goes there, rook takes. If king takes here, then this would lose due to this check here, attacking the queen. So you really have to take care about stuff here. Fritz 11 is not a bad player, so that's why you have to take here. And now after e takes f5, check, black has to go for the perpetual, and this is a draw. So back to the game, we have h4, and Houdini doesn't take the knight, plays rather bishop to d7, and black is much better. Now we have to move rook h1. Now you really cannot take, because after h takes g5 it's really lost. You have to put the rook in front. Here now g takes, and now g6, and yeah, black is up the exchange and has a safer king. White is up the exchange and has a safer king, so you cannot take the knight here. We have bishop d5, attacking the rook, c6, bishop goes back to b3, knight to b7. Again, you cannot take the knight, knight to b7, a3, queen to e7, rook to f1, rook to f8, bishop a2, knight to c5, queen e3, knight to a4, f3. Again, you can really never take the knight, but black is here much better. Black's position is to be preferred. We have to move c5, bishop b3, the knight hovels back to b6, the bishop hovels back to a2. There is really nothing better, so bishop to a2, bishop to c6, knight h3, because yeah, the knight doesn't do a lot of things there. Now we have to move d5, e takes d5, bishop a8, knight goes back to g5, and now if you take the piece, it's again much better for white because h takes, and if the king moves, then you have the move d6, attacking the king and also attacking the queen. So this is lost for, would be lost for black, but we have the move c4. And now look at this bishop. It's blocked in here, and even if it goes to b1, it's blocked in by its own pawn. So this bishop is really poor, and it's really out of the game. And now h takes, g5 is threatened, so we have queen e4, threatening mate. Now we have rook f5 stopping this. If you take this now, then it's again better for white. H takes g5, and now if you it's check, and if you go here, then we have the move g takes f6, rook takes f6, and rook here, and this is around equal. So let's count the pieces. We have 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. White is up the exchange, but this a2 bishop is very bad. And let's count pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, even though black is down the exchange and the pawn, this is around equal, this position, because, yeah, I think it's just because of this bishop, which is really not in the game at all. But okay, we have the move rook f5, keeping the advantage for black. Now the knight hovels to e6. The knight takes on d5. Now we have knight takes f8. Black is up, white is up the exchange. Rook takes f8, queen e1, queen c5, g4, knight e3 check, winning back the exchange. Queen takes c3. Now the bishop is attacked. Bishop goes to b1. Queen goes back to d6. Now queen e3, h5, g5. It doesn't really matter. Even if you take, it's just opening up your own king, and this is also bad. We have to move rook f4, and yeah, this is bad for white. So white played g5, but it's already lost. Now queen e6, queen e2, queen f5, threatening or putting pressure on the f3 pawn. Queen e3, white can do nothing. Now a5, rook f2, a4, rook f1. White can't do anything. a3. Now white plays the move bishop a2 to stop the pawn, to blockade it. Now king h7, just improving the position. Again, rook f2. White can't do anything. Now e4, f4. Taking leads to this. If you take, then this is lost. You just give a check here, and after king h2 you take this one, and now you just exchange everything. And yeah, black is up 3 pawns, and 2 of them are connected pass pawns, the other one is just a pass pawn. And yeah, this is completely winning for black. So we have to move f4, and now we have to move queen g4 check, king h2, queen takes h4 check, king g1, queen g4 check, king f1, rook to d8, threatening rook d1. So we have rook e2, rook d1 anyway, rook to e1, and now the other pass pawns should be pushed, so Houdini pushes it. And now we have to move rook takes d1, queen takes d1, king f2, queen takes c2, and in this position white resigned the game. Yeah, because now you have to exchange queens or you lose the bishop. And for example, if you go here, then queen takes e2, king takes e2, and h3, and you cannot stop all the pawns. The king is just too slow. h2, king here, e3 check, king takes h3, e2, bishop b1 check, the king goes back, and now king h2, and now you get a queen, and this is all over for white. So that's why after the move queen c2, white resigned the game. And yeah, it was a good game by Houdini. I quite liked this game because Fritz really played a good attack, but in the end it wasn't enough. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.